What is up, guys? Matt here again. So this is something a little bit different today. So I figured I would do a sort of video on Dynasty Warriors, and I don't mean actually playing the games. I mean sort of having a discussion or topic about some specific stuff in the game. So obviously most of us know Dynasty Warriors is a franchise. It's a hack and slash franchise where you can play as multiple characters from various factions across loads of different battlefields. And obviously, with every new game that comes out, characters get added to it. Um, and we started off with around in the very early stages. There was literally about maybe 9 or 10 maybe at the most, and now we're up to like over 80. Maybe I think it might be over 90 actually. So we've come a long way. So what I figured I would do with this video is I would go through each of the games and sort of discuss and have an overview of like who they added and the various situations that happened from game to game. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be talking about. This video is just for Dynasty Warriors, so it's not for Samurai Warriors. It's not for Warriors Orochi. It's not for any of the spin-off games. It's solely for the Dynasty Warriors group. So, first of all, we are looking at Dynasty Warriors 2. Now, realistically, we should go with Dynasty Warriors 1 first. So, Dynasty Warriors 1 was a one-on-one fighter game. And it had, from the looks of it, 14 characters actually, which is actually quite a lot when you think about it. So the ones that are not in bold are the ones that were obviously playable in the first game. So we had 4 characters from Shu playable, 4 characters from Wei, 4 from Wu, and then 2 from other. Fairly balanced. Going on to Dynasty Warriors 2, which is here. So for the Shu faction, they added Liu Bei, obviously the leader, Ma Chao, Huang Zong, and Jian Wei. So the total for Dynasty Warriors 2 was 8 characters in Shu. Now for Wei, my favourite kingdom, they added Xiao Yuan, Zhang Liao, and Sima Yi. Total of 7, so 1 less than Shu. Wu, they added Sun Jian, Sun Xuan, Lu Meng, and Gan Ning. Obviously 8 characters, so another, again, 1 more than Wei. And for the other faction, they decided to add Dong Zhuo, Yuan Shao, and Zhang Zhao. So 5 characters from the other faction. It's quite interesting. They went from having equal, except for other, to Wei having 1 less character. And this is a theme that may or may not continue throughout the games. So let's move on to Dynasty Warriors 3. Wow. So, from the previous game, now they did add quite a few people in the previous game. I mean, how many characters they had? 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. They added 14 characters, from the first game, so that's quite an increase. They didn't add as many in this game, but they did a pretty good job. So, for Shu, they added Wei Yan and Pan Tong, up to a total of 10 characters for Shu. For Wei, they added Xu Huang, Zhang He, and Jin Jing. Total of 10 characters for Wei. For Wu, however, they added Huang Gai, Sun Ce, Da Qiao, and Jia Qiao. And that equaled 12. So Wu actually ended up with the most characters. And for other, quite an addition actually, they added Meng Huo, Xu Rong, Fuji, and Nu Hua, for a total of 9 other characters. So this is pretty crazy. Like, other almost had the same amount of characters as the 3 factions. So that's quite, that's pretty impressive when you think about it. Now, 3XL did get an expansion. It was the first one to get an expansion. It got Dynasty Warriors XL. However, no new characters were added for that game. However, the other faction did get their own story modes, except for Fuji and Noir. So that's something to think about. XL, no new characters were added. So moving on to what people consider the best Dynasty Warriors game, I think at least the majority of fans consider 4 the best one. Dynasty Warriors 4. Now this is ironically one of the games where they added the least amount of characters. We only saw 3 additions in Dynasty Warriors 4. So Yu Ying was added to Shu, which is obviously Zhuge Liang's wife. Cao Ren was added to Wei, and Zhou Tai was added to Wu. So 1 from each of the main factions. Other didn't get any new additions. In fact, Other actually lost 2 characters. They lost 2 mystics, Fuji and Noir, and they haven't been back in the franchise ever since, apart from the Warriors Orochi series, where they have since reappeared, but they have not reappeared in the Dynasty Warriors series until this very day. They've never reappeared. Okay, so Dynasty Warriors 4 got 2 expansions. Got Dynasty Warriors Extreme Legends again, so the second Extreme Legends game. Again, no new characters added, and it also got the first of the franchise, Dynasty Warriors 4 Empires. Again, no new characters added. So from 3 to 4, we got 3 characters introduced to each of the factions, but we lost 2 other characters. So realistically, Dynasty Warriors 4 only benefited from 1 extra character. And compared to like 14 characters, not a very good addition to the game, to be honest with you. And this is the one that most people consider the best. Now, interestingly enough, Wu have pretty much always stayed ahead so far. Wu have always had the most characters. It went from 8 to 12, and then they got another one 13. Whereas Wei went from 7, so they've always had the least out of the 3 kingdoms, to 3, where they shared the same amount with Shu, however, and they shared the same amount with Shu in 4. Now, moving on to 5. So, pretty consistent, really. So, with Dynasty Warriors 5, Shu got Guanping and Jin Kai to make 13 characters for Shu. Wei got Xiao Pi and Pang De, not 13 again. Wu just got Ling Tong to make 14. Another, as I said, Fuji and Noir, they didn't get re-added again, but we got a new mystic, Xiao Jie, to make 8. Now, again with Dynasty Warriors 5, 2 expansions, Extreme Legends and Empires. Extreme Legends, Guanping was added. I'm almost positive, if I remember correctly, Guanping was only in the Extreme Legends. I'm pretty sure he wasn't in the base game, if I remember correctly. So yeah, Guanping was the Extreme Legends. Empires, again, no new characters added for that. So, as you can see, Wu are still in the lead. They've still had more characters. So, moving on to Dynasty Warriors 6. Oh dear. You can see there's a bit of a difference between 5 and 6. Now, this is where the controversy starts. So, Shu went from having 13 characters to 11 characters. That's right. we lost some characters in this game. So we lost. Who did we lose? I'm pretty sure we lost. Okay, so yeah, we lost Jin Kai and we lost Jian Wei. Now, Jian Wei has been in the series since Dynasty Warriors 2, and yet he was removed in 6. That's pretty crazy. Now, for Wei, we lost one character. We lost Pang De. For Wu, they lost one character, and that was Da Qiao. And the others lost. They were hit pretty hard. They lost Xiao Jie, Xu Rong, and Meng Huo. So they were back down to 5. That was where the only time they were ever down to 5 was in the second game. So that's pretty crazy. So moving on to 6 again. So yes, now the characters that are highlighted in bold in this Dynasty Warriors 6 are the ones that have a story mode, I believe. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. Most of the characters in the game don't have story modes. Pretty crazy. Now, characters like Jian Wei, etc., etc., I think they might have been re-added in the special edition, which was the PS2 edition. But not everyone came back, I'm pretty sure. So unfortunately, Dynasty Warriors 6 was the first time where we lost characters, like properly lost characters. There was no new additions, and characters actually got taken out. So we lost 2 from Shu, we lost 1 from Wei, 1 from Wu, and 3 from the other. So we were actually down 7 characters in Dynasty Warriors 6. Not good. That's why people consider 6 to be the worst in the series, so far at least. So, moving on to 7, whoa. This is where it gets... Okay, by the way, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, Dynasty Warriors 6 got 1 expansion. It got an Empires expansion where no new characters were added, although I think some of the old characters might have been re-added back in. No Extreme Legends. This was the first Dynasty Warriors game since 3 to not receive an Extreme Legends expansion, and it never did. I think they considered the PS2 Special Edition as basically Extreme Legends, although it wasn't because there's no new modes. They actually took features out of that. So anyway, moving on to 7. Whoa, look at this. This is when it goes crazy. So, let's start with Wei this time, my favourite kingdom. So, they added Kai Wenji and Jiaju. So we got 2 new Wei editions to make 13. So we went from... There was 13 base game, right? For Wu, we got 2 editions, although technically it's 3. So Da Qiao came back in, Ding Feng was added, and Lian Shi was added to make 16. For Shu, this is where it went crazy. So Jian Wei was re-added, Xin Kai was re-added, Liu Shan was made playable, Ma Dai was made playable, Guanzhou was made playable, Bao Sanning was made playable. Pretty crazy. They got 6 new characters in the basically in the base game. Now this is where it comes interesting, because Sima Yi got taken out of the Wei roster in this game and he got put into the newly made Jin roster, along with a lot of new characters. So Sima She, his first son, Sima Zhao, his second son, Deng Ai, Wang Yuanji, Zhuanghua, Zhuge Dan, Shaoba, and Guo Hai. So yes, the newly introduced Jin faction had 9 characters. First appearance of 8 of these 9 characters. Other Meng Huo and Zhu Ruang were re-added to the others. Now, Dynasty Warriors 7 got 2 expansions again. So we got an Extreme Legends expansion where they added back Pang De from Dynasty Warriors 5, and they made newly playable characters Wang Yi and Guo Jie. So basically the Wei roster ended up at 16. Not too bad. and for the Empires expansion, they added Zhu Shu. Not bad. Shu ended up with 18 in the roster. So basically, Wei and Wu, for a change, were tied for the amount of characters, and Shu took a massive jump in the lead because they basically got 7 characters added. Pretty impressive. So they ended up with 18 after all the versions were included. So that's pretty crazy, really. Shu went from having 11 in 6 to ended up with 18 in all the versions of 7. And it's even crazier to think about, really. If we hadn't got the XL editions, Shu would have really been hurting for characters, because Pong De would have still been missing, and we wouldn't have got 2 of my favourites, Wang Yi and Guo Ji, playable. So now we're moving on to number 8. Now this is where things get interesting. So the Wei roster added Yue Jin and Li Dian, 2 of my favourite new characters, and obviously Wei is my favourite kingdom. So they had 18 in the base game. Wu had Lu Su added and Han Dong, 18 again. Shu had Zhang Bao, Guan Xing and Guan Yingping added to make 21. Pretty impressive for the base game roster. 3 more than Wei and Wu. Jin had Zhechong, Zhan Xunhua and Wen Yan added to make 12. And the other basically got Xiao Jie came back to make 8. Now, again, we had an Extreme Legends Complete Edition, and we had an Empires Edition. So for the Extreme Legends, for Wei we got Yu Jin added. For Wu we had Zhu Ron added. For Shu we had Fa Sheng added, and for others we actually had 2 new additions. So we had Chen Gong and Lu Lin Qi. So Wei ended up with 20. Wu ended up with 19. Shu ended up with 22. Jin ended up with 12, and others actually ended up with 10. Which is pretty crazy when you think about it. Okay, I missed something out. So, yes, so Empires. So Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires had 1 new character added, Xun Yu for Wei. So that's how the Wei roster actually ended up higher than the Wu roster since pretty much forever. In fact, I don't think the Wei roster either tied with Wu or was always less than Wu. So that's quite interesting, apart from the first ever game, obviously. So, that's pretty crazy. Wei ended up with more characters than Wu in 8 after all the expansions included, whereas Shu still in the lead, unfortunately. With 22 characters, because they just kept adding Guan children for some reason. Guan children and Zhang children. Pretty crazy. And in fact, I don't think Shu was ever in the lead. No, and Shu basically never had the most characters until Dynasty Warriors 7, where they had 18, and then they jumped up to 22 again for 8 with all the expansions. Now, moving on to the final game so far, Dynasty Warriors 9. So this is a very interesting one. Wei got 3 new additions. So we got Cao Shu, Man Chong and Jun Yu to make 23. Wu got Cheng Pu and Zhu Sheng to make 21. And Shu got Zhou Kong to make 23. So initially, Wu've got the least in this game. Wei and Shu are even. 1 new addition for Jin Jing, however you pronounce her name. Now, weirdly enough, she is in the Jin faction, but she's more of a Wei character. And to be honest with you, it's the same for Sima Yi, Deng Ai, Xiao Ba, and Guo Huai. To be honest with you, all of those are really Wei characters, but they're in the Jin faction. Now, with other, we didn't have any new additions in the base game. But for the first time in Dynasty Warriors, we actually, instead of having expansions, we actually got DLC. Now, the DLC is very controversial because it's quite expensive and people really argue over whether it's really worth it or not. So, for the Shu faction, we had Xiao Jie added, and that's how the Shu roster actually ended up larger than Wei's. Xiao Jie is the niece of Xiao Yuan and actually married to Zhang Fei, and also the mother to Jin Kai and Zhang Bao. Now, for the others, we actually got 3 new additions for DLC. So we got Dong Bai, which was Dong Zhuo's granddaughter, Hua Zhong, one of the more better known officers under Dong Zhuo, and we had Wan Shu added, cousin to Yuan Shao. Now, all of these 4 characters were in the base game, but they were unique, non-playable characters, so they had their models, they had their appearance, but you couldn't play as them. You had to buy the DLC, which made them playable. So that's where we're up to now in the present day. We've got a pretty hefty roster of characters now. And they are somewhat balanced. I mean, apart from Jin and other, obviously, who are they're never going to catch up with the other 3 factions, although that is something that I'm going to discuss in a future video. A video that I plan to do in the future, I'm going to discuss characters that they should still add to the games, and I will be going over each faction. It might not necessarily be even. Like, I'm not going to necessarily have like 4 from Wei, 4 from Wu, 4 from Shu, 4 from Jin, 4 from other I might have, for example, 5 from Wei, 3 from Wu, 2 from Shu, 1 from Jin, or like 4 from other. So look forward to that. I'm really racking my brain about who I really would like to see added still. I definitely think there's still a lot of good choices, although to be honest, to be fair, they added quite a lot of very important characters in Dynasty Warriors 9, even though it is definitely the worst game of the franchise. I mean, characters like Manchong, Chengpu, Zhu Sheng, Yuan Shu, for example, very, very important characters to be added. But yeah, that was pretty much my sort of analysis of all the characters that they added throughout the Dynasty Warriors games. It's crazy. We went from these characters in 2 to all of these characters in Dynasty Warriors 9. And I'm sure with Dynasty Warriors 10, if it does ever happen, we will have yet more characters added. And that's sort of how my video is going to come. My next video is going to come into talking about that and talking about who I think might be added, who I think should be added. Hopefully we won't have any characters removed, and it should be quite interesting. I really wanted to do a video talking about this because people always talk about the gameplay and stuff like that, but they never really sit down and talk about character additions and stuff like that, really. And how, as I said, crazily enough, like the game that added the most characters, I think it was 7 that added the most characters. Technically 6 added the least characters because you're actually minus characters. However, as I said, Dynasty Warriors 4 technically only added 3 characters and it removed 2 characters. So crazy enough, Dynasty Warriors 4 probably, I would say, apart from 6, had the least impact when it came to roster. So yeah, anyway guys, that was my video. As always, thank you for watching. You know, my channel is even named after the Dynasty Warriors franchise, so it is something that I find very important. So yeah, anyway guys, thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you did find it somewhat interesting. I know it won't be a video for everyone, or many people actually, because the Warriors series is quite, I would probably say is niche, to be fair. Cult following, definitely. But yeah, anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So, see you later guys.